Watsonville cheers still feeling good after their win over Rockford tonight. As we move on, Kent City might be the only team in the whole state to go undefeated during the regular season and then play on the road during the first two playoff games. Playoff points, what are we doing here? The battle-tested Eagles definitely up for the challenge, though, and they would get one this week. Tonight, Kent City traveled to Belding to take on the champions of the OK Silver, the 9-1 Belding Black Knights out at Rudness Field. These two Division VI foes had only ever met once before tonight back in 2007. The Black Knights get off to a fast start. Jonah Hummel takes the opening kickoff, goes straight up the field, makes a man miss, then outraces the Eagles kick team to give Belding the 8-0 lead. We love special teams. The Eagles punter would flip the field, setting up the Eagles' first score. Punt goes through the end zone, 8-6. Kent City would capitalize on the ensuing possession. Blake Peterson keeps it on the bootleg, and he rolls into the end zone. Belding would respond with a nice drive. Dawson Donovan finds Hummel. Hummel then shows off his moves, making a couple of tacklers miss. Kent City D would step up. Donovan goes deep downfield. Harrison Smith comes up with the big play to keep it tied. The Eagles would go on to win this game 24-16. The last time Spring Lake won a district championship was the year 2000. None of the players on the current team were alive then. But Brady and Parker Hill, they know a guy who was on that squad. Their father, Adam, and the Hill brothers, they had a chance to help end that 25-year drought tonight in the Division IV district title game. But to do so, they would have to upset a red-hot Unity Christian team on the road. The Lakers with the ball on their first drive. Landon O'Donnell fakes the handoff, pitches it to Jack Nash. Those two were MVP of the week. He's going to find a hole, turn it on, 39-yard touchdown. Spring Lake takes the early lead. Unity on the other side trying to answer now. Justin Phoebus, what a year Phoebus had. Fakes out the defense, has a lane to walk into the end zone. The Crusaders on the board, but a failed two-point conversion kept the Lakers ahead 7-6. Spring Lake trying to grow their lead, keep the upset going to start the second, but the Unity defense comes up with the stop on fourth down. Crusaders take over toward the end of the half. Phoebus takes the quarterback sneak, but sneaks his way to the outside. He's all alone for the score. Another failed two-point conversion. Unity up 12-7 at the half. Spring Lake led in the fourth, but Unity Christian goes on to take this one 34-19. Also in Division IV, Grand Rapids Christian pulled off an upset on the road last week at Harper Creek. Tonight they had another road trip as they traveled to face undefeated Portland. It was the first ever meeting between the Eagles and the Raiders tonight. Early in the second half, Portland up 28-zip. Trying to change the momentum is Christian, but the Raiders D harassed Charlie King all game. Caleb Densor finishes off the sack. A few plays later, King's able to avoid the rush on fourth down. He's just going to toss one up, and Breon Walton, he comes out of nowhere, makes the grab, gets the first down. But the Raider defense would put an end to that drive. They would get King before Deacon Townsend steps in front of the receiver. He's going to pick off the pass in the end zone. The Raiders would go on a long, methodical drive as Ethan Castle finds Nolan Zivotowski over the middle, gets the third down conversion, and then just moments later, Zivotowski goes around left end, putting the Eagles defense into the spin cycle for a first down on 3rd and 16. That drive would stall in the red zone as the fourth down pass takes the receiver just out of bounds. Portland kept the pressure on King. Christian's second and final drive of the half. Fourth down pass is going to fall harmlessly to the turf. The Raiders dominate this one, running out the clock 28-0. Whitehall looking for its third district championship in the last 4 years. But to get it, they'd have to go on a long road trip to Saginaw tonight to take on Swan Valley. And this was also the first ever showdown between the Vikings and, well, the Vikings. Wouldn't go well for Whitehall, though. The Swan Valley defense swarmed to the ball all throughout the first half, keeping the Vikings off the board. Swan Valley took a 22-0 lead into the half. Whitehall would get on the board in the second frame, but too little, too late tonight. Saginaw Swan wins this one 36-20. Whitehall ends their season with a 6-5 record. But do not go anywhere. We have plenty more district champion action after the break. Coopersville won its way into the playoffs in the final few weeks. pulled off a huge surprise last Friday, but could the Broncos stampede into East Grand Rapids tonight and take a victory? Also in Division 3, Thornapple Kellogg travels to Lowell as these two teams look to become district champs. And as we head to break, one more shout out to our food sponsor, Robinson Dental, for buying pizza for all of our in-studio guests.